So earlier this week, a clip of me from back in February started to go viral. Somebody, give him credit, runs a basketball site, found me saying what is indisputably true, in my always humble opinion. A good boys high school state champion team would smoke, in my opinion, the WNBA champion. At this time, I didn't even know who the WNBA champion was. I probably wouldn't have known who the WNBA champion was anyway. But it was in February, and I was talking about how ESPN is doing everything they can to make it seem like people care about the WNBA, when the reality is, after 25 years, nobody cares about the WNBA. And I said, look, one of the reasons is because the women would get smoked by a good high school boys team. So that gets clipped, starts to go viral, and evidently one of the Las Vegas Aces, I don't know who she is, I don't know what her background is, but her name is Chelsea Gray. She shared this clip from the Hoop Herald, and she called me a dumbass. And so I didn't even know that this had happened until I saw it on a Google News alert, because I can't keep up with everything everybody says on a day-to-day basis. But Chelsea Gray called me a dumbass. She's on the Las Vegas Aces, which is the WNBA champion. So I responded, and to my knowledge, Chelsea Gray has not responded, nor has the WNBA, nor has the Las Vegas Aces. But my challenge is clear. We're going to clip this, and we will put it out there. Here's what I tweeted. I'll put $1 million on the line. Your WNBA champion team, that's the Las Vegas Aces, against a 2024 high school boys state champion team of my choice. You guys win. You get $1 million of my money. That is $1 million that I will put out there. I will give it directly to all the members of the Las Vegas Aces. You potentially would make more money from this one game against the boys' high school team than you do for virtually the entire season playing in the WNBA. You claim that you're wildly underpaid. $1 million on the table of my money. But if you lose, you give me $1 million. I then will not keep that money because I'm fortunate to have $100 million already. Instead, I will give that money to the high school boys team that beat you, that I believe would beat you, as incentive to the boys team to go out and play. So all of those high school boys state champions would get, nearly $100K each. That offer is out there. You called me a dumbass. You're a member of the WNBA championship team. I'm putting my money exactly where my mouth is. You can agree or disagree with me on all sorts of issues under the sun. I put my money where my mouth is. Sometimes it means I lose money. Most of the time, it means I make money. That's why I'm a 100 millionaire. Used to not have much money. Now I'm rich. I can put $1 million down on this game. Now, on top of that, let me take it to the next level. I think that this game would be the most watched game in the history of the WNBA. That is, more people would watch the high school boys team that I picked, the state champion team, would watch them play against the WNBA team than has ever watched a WNBA game in the 25-year history of the WNBA. Money out there, attention out there, next level. We will sell the video rights either on pay-per-view or to a broadcast partner, and I think we would do tens of millions of dollars in additional revenue. The vast majority of those funds I would donate to charity. Now, I'd have to keep some of them because we have to cover our costs. But that is how much I am willing to do to make this happen. $1 million on the line. I will bring $1 million in cash into the arena, and I will stack it right on the side with some security. And as soon as that game is over, the winning team will get $1 million in cash. Boom. You get the dollars right there. We're not doing the big oversized check. Literally, I will give you $1 million of my money in cash. I want the $1 million of your money on the other sideline. And when my boys' state champion teams kicks the crap out of the WNBA champion, I want the $1 million rolled right across to me, and I will then hand the $1 million to my boys. And then I'll keep the $1 million that I already had. We'll probably raise tens of millions of dollars for charity, and my overall point will be made, which is boys shouldn't be competing in women's athletics because boys are bigger, stronger, and faster, even high school boys, than grown women who are the best at playing their sport. Now, some people are like, oh, this is disrespectful. No, it's not. I could be wrong. If you think that I'm wrong, put the $1 million out there, show up, man up, woman up, prove I'm wrong, and then trash talk me. And then tell me that I'm an imbecile. Tell me that I'm a dumbass. Tell me that running my big mouth cost me $1 million. I'm putting my money where the mouth is. WNBA won't say a word. The Las Vegas Aces won't say a word. I would have never even put this $1 million out there if one of your players hadn't called me a dumbass. My money is where my mouth is. Is yours? I don't think so. All I'm offering is the most watched WNBA game of all time and an opportunity to prove me wrong once and for all and take $1 million of my own money. It's not coming from anybody else. You can go with me to the bank and watch me withdraw it and watch me load it up and drive it right to the arena. I'll be there smoking a big fat cigar after my boys whip your ass and get $1 million. Where are you? Put your money where your mouth is, WNBA. Put your money where your mouth is, Las Vegas Aces. Your boy just did it. Will y'all? Ball, quite literally, is in your court. Let's make it happen. WNBA. I want to say to all of you that have been watching on TikTok, I appreciate all of you. The comments were hysterical. And a lot of you did different reaction videos to the $1 million challenge that I've put out there for the WNBA, that if a WNBA team is willing to play a boys high school state champion of my choice, that I will pick in 2024 when all of the March of 24-ish, when all of the state champions are crowned all over the nation. And if they can beat them, this is the Las Vegas Aces, I will give the WNBA team $1 million. And a lot of you had a ton of different interesting reactions. TikTok in particular, millions of you watched the video of me discussing this. And a lot of you brought up a couple of things. One was the U.S. women's soccer team losing 5-2 to a team of 15-year-old boys in Dallas, Texas. This is not the best 15-year-old boys in America. This isn't even the best 15-year-old boys in the state of Texas. This is the best 15-year-old boys in Dallas. They beat the U.S. women's soccer team 5-2. This was the U.S. women's soccer team that would go on to win the World Cup in 2019 in France. And some of people are like, well, it was just an exhibition. Yeah, but they scored 5 goals. So I get it if you're like, well, they weren't really trying that hard. You gave up 5 goals, and you had your starting goalie playing, and the 15-year-old boy scored 5 times on you. If you were just kind of screwing around, I don't think you would have given up 5 goals. I think your goalie would have been able to save, and I think you probably would have scored more. So, look, the other analysis point, so that is one certainly very much in my favor, that we're not even talking about like the U.S. men against the U.S. women, because I think if the U.S. men's soccer team played against the U.S. women's soccer team, and I'm not kidding about this, I think they could beat them 50-0 if they needed to. If you had a scenario where you said to the U.S. men's soccer team, hey, you each are going to get $10 million each if you win 50-0 against the women, or you're going to have to pay $10 million to the women if you don't beat them 50-0. I'm not even kidding about this. I think the U.S. men could beat the U.S. women 50-0. I think they could. in a full 80-minute game where they're going balls to the wall the whole time, I don't think the U.S. women would have a single scoring chance, and I think the men would win 50-0 if they needed to, if they had $10 million on the line. We're just talking about 15-year-old boys that were capable of winning 5-2. Okay, so a lot of people said, "Hey, let's look at the height." The Las Vegas Aces don't have a single player taller than 6'4". There are tons of high school teams out there that have really good teams that have entire starting lineups with 4, sometimes even 5 guys that are 6'4" or taller. So let's just talk about the actual mechanics of the game. There would be a total above the rim ability for high school boys basketball team that doesn't exist in the WNBA. Brittany Griner can occasionally dunk in the WNBA with nobody else around her on a complete breakaway. Every good starting state championship caliber team would have, I think, 5 or 6 dudes that could dunk in a game. Not dunk on a breakaway. I mean dunk in a game on these women. They would play above the rim. They would be bigger, stronger, and faster than the WNBA's championship team would be. And I think that's why you're not seeing anybody out there on the WNBA side even respond. And again, this is worth bringing up. People say, why are you even talking about this? The WNBA player, the girl that's on the WNBA championship team, called me a dumbass for just saying that a high school boys team would win. And then I said, okay, you call me a dumbass. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, $1 million down on it. And then I see today, and I said, this would be the most watched WNBA game of all time. Everybody agrees. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. Go look at all the comments. The number of people out there saying, I would pay to watch this game. I would watch this game. It's off the charts. It would be a modern-day battle of the sexes. I think we would have millions of people that would watch. And I saw today Fox Sports PR put out a release. Think about this for a minute. The WNBA has never had 2 million people watch one of its games in the entire history of the league, 20-plus years. There are 330 million people in America. They've never had an audience, I believe I'm correct in this, of 2 million for one of their games. Despite the fact that they've been shilling for it forever, ESPN trying to make it seem like people care, nobody watches, nobody cares. Meanwhile, Fox put on the Big Ten, let me make sure I get this right because I want to give these women credit, put on Big Ten volleyball. Big Ten women's volleyball. I'm not an expert in women's volleyball. I'm not an expert in volleyball. I don't know much of anything about volleyball. They put on Big Ten women's volleyball, and it outrated at any point anyone who had ever. Here's the ratings. Sunday's Big Ten women's volleyball slate featuring Ohio State women's volleyball at Michigan women's volleyball. I guess it was a doubleheader. And Minnesota volleyball against Wisconsin volleyball had 1.659 million viewers on Fox, most viewed regular season women's college volleyball telecast in history. Remember, the Nebraska women also sold out the entire stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. More people watched the Big Ten women's volleyball on Fox Sunday than have watched any WNBA game in 20-plus years of its existence. The WNBA ought to lean into this. Look, you can be like, I hate Clay Travis. You can be like, Clay Travis is the biggest jerk that's ever existed in the history of mankind. You can even say, I have no idea who Clay Travis is. What I can guarantee is that more people will watch a WNBA team play basketball than have ever watched in the 20-plus year history of your existence. It's actually good advertising. And I'll put my money where my mouth is. All these women complain and say we don't get paid enough to play basketball. Some of these WNBA people, and certainly many of the women's soccer people, they're like equal pay for equal work. All right, I'm offering you equal pay for equal work. If you win, you get $1 million. If you lose, the boys that you lose to get $1 million. I don't know how to be more fair.